Hey guys, Beat Twice here. I hope everybody is having a good weekend. Today is Sunday, January 30th, 2022. Tomorrow is going to be the last trading day of January, and then we will be closing out that monthly candle and jumping into February trading when seasonality will start to get a little bit better. So I told everyone in the Discord this weekend that I would try to do a video or possibly stream some corrective counting just because there's a lot of, if you look at the S&P 500, we're going to take a look at ES today. It's a lot of through wave moves, so there was a lot of different counts that could have been valid. It could have been a triangle. It could be that bottoms in. It could be a WXY, a nested WXY. So when you start getting into this corrective counting in Elliott Wave theory, it can be a lot of different things. It makes it very difficult to trade because you don't ever want to take a trade if you don't know what you're looking at, right? Because it's just too high risk. It's not worth it. It's just gambling at that point. So with that being said, we're going to look at this corrective counting on ES. There is also a bull count that is very possible to be valid, but I'm not going to spend as much time on it today. It is up on the website, so if you haven't checked out the website already, it is btwicetrading.com. I will put in the description. Also, join the Discord if you're not already in there. Any questions you guys might have, I try to answer them. Chart requests, I'll try to do when I do have time, but it's few and far between nowadays. So without further ado, let's jump into this corrective counting on ES. And then at the very end of the video, we'll look at the bull count for a second. But if you really want to look at the bull count and see what I have to say about it, go to the website. So with that being said, let's look at this. So when we first came down here and we bottomed, I think it was last Monday, on the S&P 500, obviously had a major flush going down to this 4,200 level, and then it was very clear that when we rallied off of this level that we saw a three-wave move. So in Elliott Wave theory, when you see a three-wave move, you're going to have an A, B, C, right? Because if it would have gone for five waves, because right here you can see a one, a two, coming up here, it could have been a three or it could be a C. Because it got rejected and headed lower and we can only see three waves, that it can only be labeled as an ABC. So we have an A, B, C up, and then we start pulling back down. It looks like it's somewhat of an impulse coming down, so you'd call that an A. Then you see three waves up, so you call that B, and then you'd see another impulse down for a C. So now you start to see this, okay, crap, we're moving in a series of three-wave moves. So we go up for three, we come down for three, and then what do you have again? One, two, three. So it looks like we're just putting in three-wave moves everywhere, and this is where it can get pretty confusing because it's like, okay, how do I label that? So when you get the original three-wave move up, unless this is going to be our wave four, because right in the total wave count, we're thinking that this was a wave three bottom. So this could have been your wave four peak right here. So you could have said, hey, right here is your wave four, and we could have had lower right there. Or if we have a complex correction, which is called a seven wave, or seven swing, excuse me, it's called a seven swing. What that means is you have a WXY move, means that you're still within the correction. So after you have your ABC up, you've either already bottomed or topped, and then you're either going to be going higher or lower, or it means that you have a complex correction. Well, because this peak right here ended up being lower than the peak we saw on the 26th, then that means that the only thing that this could be is either a W, or we're in a triangle, an ABCDE triangle, or we're in some weird bull bottom, right? Like maybe a leading diag or something like that. So sorry if this is a bit confusing. If you have any questions, come in the Discord and I'll try to clarify. So we had our three waves up, we had three waves down, we have three waves up again. So I have this labeled as a W. We pulled down for an X, we popped it for a Y. So now this again could have been our wave four and we could have had lower. Instead, we went three waves down to the bottom of the channel again, and then we immediately pop back up, and then we pull back down again. So we'll start getting this a little bit more detailed now. So now we pulled down for three waves, A, B, C. Okay, so now we had three waves down, so that's not an impulse to the downside, so that means that we're still within this correction, right? It means that this up here was not our wave four top, and that we're not going to head down for wave five just yet. So that means that this WXY that we just had put in a higher degree W right here. So that means we still have to come down for X and go up and finish off Y. So we had three waves down, so that's our X, because when you're doing Elliott wave theory and we're looking at WXY, every time you go in from a W to an X, you always have a three-wave move. Like you can see it here, one, two, three. So then you go from this W down to this X, one, two, three. Now, what do we see after that? So if you look at this structure going up, what does that look like? Well, this right here could be an A, a B, and a C, but to me, that just doesn't look that clear. I see it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means that that's just an A because we had an impulse up. Now from here, what do we see? This move down right here, if you just look at the structure, what does it look like? That looks like a wave 1, 2 pull down for a 3, pop up for a 4, pull down for a 5. So when you actually look at the structure of this right here, and I'm on the 15-minute chart, that looks like an impulse down, meaning it has to be an A. And that's the biggest thing about watching when you're counting is look at the structure and try to figure it out, because a lot of times there could be various counts that are valid at that given time, and there always is, and it's your job to try to figure out exactly what it's doing. So when you look at this move down, you can say, okay, that's an impulse. So this impulse down means that that's got to be an A. Then we see a move up, that's got to be our B, and then it looks like kind of it has to be an impulse because this one was, so we label this down here as C. Okay, so we had an impulse up off of this X, which took us to A. Then we pulled down for an A, popped up for a B, pulled back for a C. So that means that's our B bottom. So it's a higher degree B bottom. So to finish off this Y, because we're in wave Y right now, that means we have to make a move higher to go up here and finish off this Y. So that means we should be seeing a 5-wave move, right? Because we saw this 5-wave move up for A, we pulled back for B. So now we're looking for a 5-wave move up to finish off C, and then we see what happens on Friday, and you're like, oh crap, what is this? Because we pulled up for what looks like a 1-2-1-2 nest. That means we had a 5, you can see it right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a wave 1. We pulled back for a 2, and then you can see it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you went down to the 5-minute chart, you could clearly see that this would be a wave 3 peak and then pull down for 4. So this right here could either be a 1, 2, 3, 4 and going up for 5, but because this came down, this retracement was so deep, it came into wave 1 territory, we're not going to label that as a 4 because I just don't see this being a diag. So that means it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. So now that means we're extending within wave 3 of wave C. So we're going to see us go up for a 3, pull back for a 4, go up for a 5, and that's only going to finish off wave 3 of this initial impulse. Then we'll pull back for a 4 and we'll extend a little bit higher for a 5. And that's why if you look at my market overview on the website, I say that I'm bullish going into the week, and then from there I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear and see how we finish this impulse up to see what I am going to favor. I'm probably about 50-50 right now on the bear versus bull count. But what I am saying for sure is that I think that we head higher into the week, because even my favorite bear count we're looking at right now has us going into the 4,500 range. So now that's a mouthful, right? Probably confused just about anybody who's not um, that good at counting at this point. So let's just try to like break it down, make it a little bit simpler to try to figure out like our price targets. So when you want to figure out your price target for a wave Y, the most highest probability place to find it is between the 100% extension and the 161.8 extension. So what we do is, I'm going to delete this off real quick. I'm going to delete that off to show you. So you go to your extension tool, you're going to go to the bottom from where the whole move started. So the bottom of your wave W to the peak of your wave W. Remember, not this W, we're going to the higher degree W right here. So we take from the bottom, we go up to where wave W peaked. We're going to pull down to where it bottomed to right here. And so right here at the 100 extension, which is 4,500, we need wave Y to get to at least the 4,500. I'm thinking it's going to extend a little bit more. I think we're going to break out of this channel and up. We're going to be up here in this clear space where everyone's going to be extremely bullish because like, oh, we broke out of this channel. And then I think that the bears may just reject it and send us right back in. So I think we could get 45.50, 45.40 this week. I think we get 4,500 tomorrow. But with that being said, we need to get up into this area to finish off our wave Y. That's where our highest probability area is going to be. So now if we wanted to get a little bit more specific, we can do the exact same thing on this A, B, C move to try to figure out where the highest probability is for C. And it's the exact same thing. You just take your extension tool, go from the bottom of where your wave A started, go up to your peak of wave A, and you pull it down to your wave B bottom. So right here, you can see that, oh, wow, look at that. The 100 extension, we've already hit it, right? So our C could technically be peaking anywhere right here. So if you were just to do this extension, you'd be like, man, like wave Y could be ending right now. But if you look right here, that would actually be a truncated wave Y. It wouldn't even cross the peak of wave X. So we would think that no matter what, we're going to be going above this 45 or 44.50 range, and we're not there yet. And when you actually look at the entire scope, wave C could actually come up to the 161.8, and the 161.8 is all the way up here at 45.25. So that's where I'm thinking that, yeah, it'll probably be like right here, somewhere in this ballpark. So the highest probability area for us to peak would be right in this box right here between 4,500 and 45.25. So that's where we're going to be expecting the bears to try to reject this. It doesn't mean that if we broke 45.25 that it has to be bullish. I would think they could reject it up to 45.50. if we get a close over 45.50, it's hard not to just be a bull saying that we're going to go back to all-time highs, because that's pretty much going to be the last stance, I think, for the bears to stop it over 45.50, and I think we get right back to all-time highs within a few weeks. So with all that being said, that is the bear count. I hope this made sense for everybody. I wasn't too confusing. Please, if you have any questions, jump into the Discord, DM me, put a comment on YouTube, and I'll see it when I do. But I'm trying to make this as clear for everybody, because we are in a situation where it's very difficult to count this. When you get into a structure like this, it's very difficult to count. All right, so now we're going to really quickly look at this bull count for everybody. So anybody who's interested to see what it could possibly be, I'm not going to go over it as much detail, but let's take a look. So this is the exact same thing we just looked at. I just made the screen a little bit bigger before because of the very detailed count. So what could this possibly be if the Bulls end up winning? Because it's very possible that they could, especially when you look at this structure here and it's a very clear impulse up. All right, so let's look at this. So we had a three-wave move, or what looks to be a three-wave move, taking us up to here. That's what made us believe, hey, we're still within this correction, right? This can't be bottom. We definitely had three waves down, but that could be a wave two. Remember, because when you're going down for wave two, it is going to be a corrective move down. So this could be a wave two. So we're thinking here as a bull that this move up, although it's ugly, is a wave one peak. And then we pull down here and it's a corrective move. So that makes sense. So this is a wave two. And then we have this another really ugly possible impulse taking us up to here, which would be our wave three peak. We pull down for a four and we go up to a five. So anybody who knows wave theory would understand that this is called a leading diagonal. It is probably the ugliest leading diagonal I've ever seen in my entire time counting. If it ends up becoming valid and this was a leading diagonal, it will go down as the ugliest one I've ever seen that came out to be an actual leading diagonal. So for now, as a bull, you have to say, hey, this is one. I just can't favor it yet because of how it looks, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. So then from here, we clearly see three waves down first. So this would be our wave two bottom. And then we see five waves up for a one, pull back for a two, because we see three down for a two. So now what we're seeing is that the bulls have us in a wave three of three. If we're in a wave three of three, we're going to see a very, very big move up tomorrow. Or at least early in the week, if not tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, but we're going to be heading into the mid for 4,500 range, and then from there we'll just have a very slight pullback, and then we'll be running a lot higher. So if this bull count does come true, I think we might be back into the 4,700s within the next several weeks. So we'll see what happens. Hope you guys like these videos. Please check out the website if you haven't already. All right, guys, have a good week.